All right, this is the week 5 training tape for the 2020 season. We had a much better week this week than we did last, and I appreciate your commitment overall. One thing I want to stress is continue to talk to the coaches whenever they have questions on plays, even if it involves, during a timeout or even during the heat of the battle, going over referees and talking with them. But one thing I want to make sure you do is always have someone with you when you have those discussions with coaches. We'll show a play or a couple plays like that later in the training tape. But this first play, no, I'm not crazy. I did show this last week, but someone brought this to my attention. I really appreciate them for doing this. This is the play where we have a legal forward pass, where the quarterback is obviously across the line of scrimmage, throws it for a touchdown. But one thing that I failed to notice, and thank you to that person who brought it to my attention, is we're snapping the ball at the 7-yard line. So as you can see, we're in our goal line mechanics here. So nobody's covering the goal line. So if you watch what happens on this play, we're, it was an obvious touchdown had it been illegal, but, we have nobody on the goal line here to cover the goal line if this goal line was threatened, and had the quarterback decided to run the ball and the pylon be threatened. So, how do we officiate these plays going forward? Because they are difficult plays with our mechanics the way they are. So this is why I stress to you, and you can already see at the top of the screen, the head linesman making a beeline for the goal line. So this is where we have to, as officials, read the play. And in this play, it's pretty obvious that the quarterback is going to the bottom half of the screen where the line judge is going. So reading that play, the line judge is the person who should go to the goal line, okay? Where the head linesman should stay put on the line of scrimmage to rule on these fouls and start thinking about that through their head, because they have the line of scrimmage at this point. We change responsibilities. And the head linesman now is responsible for the line of scrimmage, meaning the pass or across the line of scrimmage, whether a ball was caught beyond or behind the line of scrimmage, and also to look at ineligibles downfield in this situation, because our line of demarcation, if we snap from the 7-yard line, is the 4-yard line for ineligibles downfield. So even though, like what I said to the person, we got this play right for the wrong reasons, because our mechanics failed us and we didn't get to the goal line, but we still got the play right. But had the play developed a little differently with the quarterback running to the goal line, we might have had a different result here, not been able to officiate the play properly. So this week in your pregame, talk as line of scrimmage officials, talk about this play and how would we officiate this going forward, with changing responsibilities, reading the play, and the person with the goal line being threatened getting to the goal line. All right, this next play, we're going to take a look at the action by the left tackle here. And, short wings, we stare at the ball, right? But we also have to keep an eye on the surroundings, meaning the offense and defensive linemen. As you can see here, we have a lineman go down just as the ball is being snapped. And what I don't want to happen here is we don't want, there's a foul on this play, obviously, right? And the foul in this case is a false start, okay? Had he gone down as the ball's being snapped slower, not in this motion that simulates a snap, maybe we can get away with calling a live ball legal shift. But in this case, it's abrupt. It simulates the snap, and this is a situation where we need to have a foul down for a false start, and unfortunately we don't, and you can see what happens in the result of the play. So let's keep our focus on the line of scrimmage, and let's try to be 100% on these administrative fouls in situations like this. All right, this next play I put on is not because it's a great call, but it illustrates the mechanics that we're trying to teach. And you could see the line of scrimmage official at the top of the screen and talking, and he gets in there and he sees someone line up, and then all of a sudden, boom, we got encroachment. And look what he does. He throws his flag high up in the air, he blows his whistle, and he kills the clock here. This is exactly what we want to do, because if we don't do these situations like this, if we're a little bit lax, this play has already started and you got number 4 blitzing in, and we could have a free shot at the quarterback. But this line of scrimmage official gets on his whistle, blows his throws the flag up in the air and kills the clock, and is immediately coming in with his preliminary signal. So this is illustration of the mechanics we want to be had whenever we have encroachment or we have a false start in our situations. This next play I put on, and it's not really, there's nothing that happens on this play, but I'm going to illustrate that same line of scrimmage official. And what you can see him doing is him sticking his foot out saying, my foot is the line. And this is what we should be doing. We should never tell a receiver that they're good. Okay, you put your foot out like he does here and says, my foot is the line. They line up off of it. I got it. But what you can also see is the chain here is marked at the down marker is marked at the 46-yard line. Well, unfortunately, we have centers who like to move the ball a little bit forward. But so if he stands exactly where the down marker is listed, he's not going to be able to see the ball because the wide receiver is covering the ball. So what does he do? He takes a step upfield. Okay, so now he has a perfect view down the line of the neutral zone that's going in here to be able to officiate the play. So don't have our feet stuck in the mud and just officiate the play from the line of scrimmage, because if this line of scrimmage official would have done it this way, he would have never been able to see past the wide receiver. But by simply taking a step upfield, we're able to officiate this play better. All right, this next play we're going to talk about, again, mechanics, and letting people own their position. So we have a just run-of-the-mill run to the bottom of the screen, and what do we have? Who's responsible right now for the status of the ball, whether it's in or out of bounds? It's the line of scrimmage official. And what we have in this situation is the runner is tackled in bounds, but however, the line of scrimmage official calls him out of bounds. Okay. That's fine. We can have discussions about that. But what we have now is conflicting signals here. We have a referee who is winding the clock, and we have a line of scrimmage official at the bottom of the screen who is killing the clock. And this just doesn't look good, doesn't bode well for us in these situations. So, if we run into this situation, referee, where he was clearly in bounds, say something to the official. Your responsibility is not to wind the clock. You leave that to the line of scrimmage official. Fix it after the play and talk to him. Said, should he have been in bounds? Yes. Oh, yeah, I saw his shoulder come in. All right, click on the mic and say, the runner was stopped in bounds. We're going to wind the clock. And then you just wind the clock from there. But, let's try to empower our officials to do what they're supposed to do here. All right, these next two plays are roughing the passer plays. And this first one, I'll let it run. You can see the number 11 come in and give a shot to the back, and then we have a flag for roughing the passer. And this is really good call because number 11 on the defense clearly sees that the ball's away at this point, and he takes 2 steps and just unnecessarily shoves them into the back and knocks them on the ground. Now, if he bumps them and they stand up and we don't have anything, then we won't have anything. So, but this is a case where 11 on the defense clearly sees the ball's away. He gets knocks the quarterback to the ground, and we have a flag for a foul for roughing the passer, which is a correct call in that situation. The second one, the timing isn't the issue. It's the location of the hit in this situation. So what we'll see is the quarterback throw the ball, and a couple players come in, and then you see that shot to the head right there. Okay, it's a clear shot to the head, and if this, the timing, if they throw the ball and then he may wraps him up a little bit at the chest and gives him a little bump, then maybe we have a talk to in this situation. But you can see here, number 5 of the blue team comes in and has a significant blow to the head of the quarterback right there. And with how we are to protect the players and their heads, because of concussions, we usually err on the side of safety, and that's what exactly the referee does here. He throws a foul for roughing the passer for the blow to the head. And referees, during your announcements, to help clarify situations, you can even say personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number, whatever, blow to the head. In this case, it would be half the distance to the goal, automatic first down. So that clears up to anyone why you call the roughing the passer and why we would have it going, why we had it going forward. All right, that's just a replay of the previous play. All right, next play, we're going to talk about defensive pass interference for these next few plays, and we're going to take a look at this receiver right here, and that receiver is purely the responsibility of the line judge in this situation. And what we'll see is there's a clear hook and turn in this situation, where the receiver goes to the middle of the field, he gets thrown to the ball, and number 4 hooks his back arm, turning him away from the ball, and there's clear restrictions for DPI. So first off, as the line judge, when we see a situation like this, I know we work snap, tackle, back. So let's slowly walk through this situation, how we would like to read this situation. So right now, if you're working snap, tackle, back, you see your tackle's down blocking. So you're really out of anything that could happen except for a clip. The back is getting faked to. Okay, so that's number 2. We're out of those 2 scenarios. So we're then going to go snap, tackle, back, then to our key. And our key is the number 2 receiver here who goes inside. And we know, especially as deep wings, when we have a receiver go inside, we need to stay with them. And line of scrimmage officials, we have to understand that too, because when they go in the middle, this DB or whatever is essentially in chase mode, coming up and playing this receiver, and then comes up and hooks the arm of the wide receiver. Now the question is asked, could the field judge see this? And you know, possibly, but the field judge might catch the second half of this, because the field judge has this person as their key, and as that receiver goes downfield, he's in a threatening area. But if he's able to open up his view and be able to see that, that's great, and that's the mark of an official who really knows and understands what's going on. But I can't fault the field judge for not going here because of what's going on with his key, and how when he probably transitioned to this right when the ball went in the air, he probably caught the second half of that and really wasn't sure. But you know, we got to own our position, own our keys in these situations, and be able to make the calls that need to be made when they present themselves to us. Okay, this next play, another DPI play, and we're going to take a look at what happens right here with this receiver. Okay, we talked a lot earlier about defensive holding, how we have a 2-step process where we see a restriction, then we go back and look at the ball. If the ball's in the air already, then we have to determine whether or not the contact rose to the level of a defensive pass interference. If the ball is still in the quarterback's hand, then we have to determine whether or not that grasp or that restriction was big enough to take a step away from the receiver. So in this case, this is the field judge's key, but again, you know, let's look at what's happening with this situation. The line judge right away is probably working this tackle, and they may be staying with that tackle just a little bit longer because he's beat, and he sees that he's beat. But let me add because the line judge will know based on the formation that the referee's over here working the head linesman tackle because there's 2 receivers over here, and he knows he has 0 help from the head linesman. So the line judge has to stay with this tackle just a little bit longer, and especially since he's beat, he's going to stay there and be of little help to this matchup right here. But as you can see with this matchup, there's a grasp and a turn off the line, you know, just similar to what we had on the last play. Okay, and you know, we have, let's walk through this slowly. So we have the DB's beat right here. So he needs to get his arms off the receiver, and he continues to grab him, and you could see the hook around here. So once we see that hook, we then go look back and find the ball. Okay, and we find that the ball is in the air to the receiver at this point, and he turns the receiver, not letting him get to the ball. So in this situation, this action is similar to what we saw in the previous play with the hook and turn, especially with the arm pinned down, and it's a foul that rises to the level of a defensive pass interference. All right, next play, we're going to talk about, you know, a lot of what we do as wings and deep wings, we try to work together, okay? So we have a play here. Do we have a block in the back here? And the ball gets thrown to the inside guy. So as you can see, there was a specific block that springs the runner. But let's go back and take a look at what we have in this situation and talk about how difficult it is for certain people to see certain plays, right? So as previously, the line judge is going to work snap, tackle, and then the key. So he works snap, his tackle blocks down. So once you see your tackle block down, you're thinking to yourself, I'm not going to be much help. The running back's up here who got faked to. Now, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to my key that's number 4, who's getting the ball thrown to him, right? So he gets the ball thrown to him, and now we've completed the process as a catch, and then we have this matchup right here that the field judge is working 25, 30 yards away, and the line judge is working, you know, right here. Who should be working that? Because now we notice we are in chase mode, okay? Because this back is not going to run up here into two defenders. He's going to try to bounce it outside. And what's the key block at this situation? Number 2 right here. And watch what number 2 does. It's just a slight push in the back. And, you know, we don't like to throw on reactions of of the blocker, but most of the time when they do that, they're guilty, right? But what makes this play difficult for the field judge, whose key it is A, the angle, because he's looking through the back of number 2 right here. Okay, and B, the distance of which he's being able or she's being able to see this play. So this is where, as a line of scrimmage official, we really have to be agile and be able to go quickly from the catch to the block, because if we go block now, chase mode, push, I got the foul. So that's the situation where we have to be, and I jokingly say this, the line of scrimmage officials have the toughest job and are the best officials usually on the field, because they have a lot going on here. So, that slight shove, although it does not look like much, was enough just to push that defender just past the runner to let him get break free and go for a long game. All right. Next play, we're going to take a look at both the blocking by this player and this player. Okay, and we talked a lot about holding last week. Okay, and what constitutes holding, the indicators of holding. So we'll run the play really quick, and then we'll go from there. So as you can see, we get a foul for holding. Now let's walk through each of the individual fouls. So let's look at this player right here first. So right now he's going out, and what's the indicator is the outside grab. And then now there's also a double indicator is he's going to be beat as the quarterback is running to the outside. So as the quarterback's running to the outside, what does he do? He pulls the shoulders in and takes down the defender, doesn't let him go. So that is the indicator of the outside grab plus being beat. He pulls him to the ground. That's a quality holding call here. So let's take a look at this block here too. We have the same indicator with the outside grab. Now we're going to have the same thing. He gets beat to the inside, and no defender wants to block to make a tackle with his back. So you can really tell right there that there was significant enough restriction at that point to say, oh, he pulled him to the ground, he twisted him, pulled him to the ground, and have a flag there. So those are two quality holding calls we have on this play, and the process of which we should look at doing the holding calls. All right, this next play, a little bit different, a little bit more difficult, I'll say, because of the magnitude of what we have going on here. So we're going to take a look at that running back here, because the quarterback is going to run to the pylon. And this is where a line of scrimmage official, we got to get to the goal line, which we do in this situation, but we also have to officiate the play that's coming at us, because we have the back coming at us, and I know our key. We switch at the goal, at the 7, we actually switch keys. So your key is this, but we have to officiate, or your key is this, but we have to officiate the biggest threat here. Because if you look at it in all seriousness, we switch keys, there's no way this deep wing is going to look through all of that to catch that. Okay, so our eyes need to be here with feeling the runner until he's threatened on the goal line. And referee is doing the right thing. He's following the quarterback. He's also working the head linesman side and the point of attack, which is this. So let's take a look at that block by number 28. He gets beat, then starts and tackles him to the ground, and the referee gets this call, and it's a quality holding call in this situation that brings back a touchdown. And that's the way we should treat all of our holding calls. Every flag that we throw, we should feel comfortable bringing back a touchdown, because in this, they're so important. But you can see the grab. He hooks him with his arm, and he twists him and pulls him to the ground. But, I would hope that the line of scrimmage official maybe would have caught a glimpse of this too, but that's where actually we should be looking in those situations. All right, we have 2 fouls on this play, both really good calls by this crew. First, the umpire gets a nice call on the center here, and you can see he's beat, and then he pulls and twists him. And it's not much of a pull and twist, but it is enough, because if he doesn't do it, he has a clear path to the quarterback, right? Grab, pull, twist, just enough for the quarterback to get to the outside right there. So that's a really good call by the umpire. Really good job staying with their keys in this situation. This next foul is a foul for pass interference that the side judge gets. So what you'll see there is the slight shove in the back. And an airborne player doesn't take much, like we saw previously, doesn't take much for a push in the back to be effective, but he stays with his key, the shove in the back, and an interception. So how do we adjudicate this play? Okay, so we're going to have a flag by the umpire. We're going to have a flag by the side judge. So they're both going to go and report it. One's on offense, one's on defense. Okay, they're both prior to the change of the possession. So this makes the announcement very easy for the referee. You click on the mic and you say, we have 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. And by saying that, everyone knows that it's probably going to be offset. So we have 2 fouls on the play, 1 by each team. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. We have 2 fouls on the play. No, I'm right. 1 by each team. Holding offense number such and such. Pass interference defense number such and such. Those penalties offset. We will replay the down. Okay? Quick, dirty, and easy. All right. Punt mechanics. And this is more of a rules thing. A punt is a punt until the punt is over. And when is the punt over? Whenever it is possessed by R. And we know that K can never advance a punt, and the only way they can advance a punt, I won't use the word never, there's only one situation where K can advance a kick. That is, if the kick is blocked or goes beyond the line of scrimmage and comes back behind the line of scrimmage, K can advance it. Or if it stays behind the line of scrimmage, K can advance it. But once the ball is crossed the line of scrimmage and stays across, then K cannot advance the kick. So in this situation, we have a punt, muff, and we have K returning it, and we eventually kill this play. But the problem we have is now where's the spot? Okay, and hopefully that we understand one of the deep wings understood that this play was over right now, and the spot of the ball should be about the 34-yard line. But this is where knowing the rules and understanding situations really comes into play. All right, next play is intentional grounding play. So remember, intentional grounding, free blocking zone, right? Ball needs to get to the line of scrimmage, right? So here we go. Quarterback drops back. He is out of the free blocking zone. Just get the ball to the line of scrimmage. Well, it hits right about here. So he doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. So referees, when you see situations like this, immediately go and run over right next to the quarterback, okay? Because that spot's important. So if we run up right now the 46, 47-yard line, we just stop there, because our mechanics should be, the line judge should be running in to the referee at this point. I know we have O2Os, but run into the referee and say, the ball never made the line of scrimmage. And now the second question, do we have a receiver in the area? So he throws the ball right here. Are you going to deem this receiver in the area? Now here's my philosophy on this. If the receiver is running towards the area where the ball is being thrown and it is close enough and it lands right here like it does, I would deem in this situation this receiver to be in the area. However, this crew didn't, which is fine. I think they said that the ball was behind the line of scrimmage and we have a foul for intentional grounding. If that's the case, that's fine, but let's give a little bit of grace and let's try to be aware of our surroundings in this situation, because this player is not that far away from where that ball hit. Okay, if I can slow it down, the ball hits right here. We're a couple yards away. I'm sure that there are other situations where we give a little bit of grace downfield. So let's keep that in mind whenever we are officiating intentional grounding. But the mechanics should be, if we have a receiver in the area, we point at the receiver as a line of scrimmage official. If the ball did not make the line of scrimmage, we then run back to the referee and say to the referee, the ball did not make the line of scrimmage. Then the referee tells you, well, the quarterback was outside the free blocking zone, so we have a foul. Okay, so let's just make sure to stay with our mechanics in these situations to be able to officiate the play properly. All right, this next play, there's a hit behind the play, and this is really good officiating by the line of by the umpire here. And you could see it happen about the 50-yard line. I'll rewind it back. What you'll see happen right here, and the umpire's watching behind the play. I'll rewind it back. You'll see a member of the defense just unnecessarily shoves a lineman down to the ground. And, we don't want to allow anyone with a free shot on any players. And this is far enough behind the play that you can say that the player's behind the play, and the umpire does do that in this situation and calls an unnecessary roughness for a personal foul on this. And it's a really good job by the umpire here in this situation. All right, this next play, we're going to take a look at this tight end, and do we have a blindside block? And he'll go down the field, and he'll peel back a little bit. He'll give you all the indications, and then he pushes number 11 to the ground. And we have a foul for a blindside block. And I understand that we're here to protect the players, and we usually err on the side of safety. So we're going to talk about this play just a little bit. Number 20 uses his hands, and we would have been better off in this situation not calling and a blindside block in this situation. Yes, he knocks 11 down, but they are allowed to use their hands in those situations to have a legal blindside block in that situation. All right, these next couple plays, we're going to talk about how to handle some situations. And first, we're going to see at the top of the screen, we're going to have a little bit of a wrestling match between a receiver, number 11, and a DB. And one throws the other to the ground, and we have a flag. And then immediately, we have an irate coach, and we have an official staring him down. Okay? Let's try to avoid these outward motions of anger by us. I know we can get frustrated at the sideline, and I know this sideline in particular was causing some issues during the game, but we got to do our best to try to keep the cool. Second, I know who they threw the flag on this play, but I'm not so sure who's the victim of who here, because if we throw the foul for the white team for throwing the blue team down to the ground, then we need to have a foul for number 11, who is just holding the heck out of the white team player here too. So let's make sure it's good we have a flag down. We can't allow a lot of this stuff happen, but we got to get the whole situation right. So if we fast forward to the next play, we have a sideline warning here, told to the referee. And we have irate coaches, and then we have a get back coach who's trying to get everyone back. And we had a personal foul for the unnecessary roughness on the defense, and then we give them a sideline warning. And then we walk back to the sideline and march off the penalty. So as we see in the next frame, in the next play, the coach wants to talk to the referee, which is fine. But what happens is the head linesman then walks away from the situation here. And what we cannot do is leave the referee alone with the head coach here. Okay, and we need to have another official. If it's too heated with the head linesman, then the side judge needs to come up. But we always need to have another official with the referee when they're having a discussion with the head coach in that situation. All right, last play, another situation play. Where we have to keep our wits with us. It's a timeout, right? Really easy. But watch what happens with number 3. We're sitting here, we're too busy writing down on our card what's going on, and then we have number 3 start coming in, jawing, and then we have the team coming in. And we're sitting there just watching the situation here, and then we finally get involved, and then the head coach or one of the coaches gets the player out of the way. And that's fine. He wants to get the player out. But we should never let it come to that with the coach. We need to be aware enough in these situations that once we see this and there's a timeout, we're jogging in here to get number 3 the heck out of there and back to his huddle. So that's it. I know I apologize for this being a little bit longer of a training tape. I wanted to go over a few other things, but keep up the good work. Conference play is getting tight, playoff situations, and then we have the teams who are not doing as well, and the frustrations of those coaches probably are getting heated too. So continue to work hard, and if you have any questions, please let me know.